The laughter echoed through the empty school hallway, sharp, cruel, and heartless. Emma's trembling hands tried to grab the edge of the chair, but the ropes around her wrists dug deeper. Her long, brown hair, the one thing she'd always been proud of, fell to the cold linoleum floor in uneven clumps. "Welcome to Ridgewood High, freak," sneered Vanessa, the leader of the group, as the electric razor buzzed. The other two girls recorded everything on their phones, their giggles mixing with Emma's muffled sobs. Emma had been at Ridgewood High for only 2 weeks. Her family had just moved from another state after her dad, Major Daniel Carter, retired from the U.S. Army. She had been shy but polite, always sitting alone at lunch, always keeping her head down. But in a world where kindness is often mistaken for weakness, that had made her a target. It started with whispered insults. Then came the prank messages. Then the humiliation in the cafeteria when they dumped milk on her tray. But today, this was different. This was cruelty pushed to the edge. "Hold still," Vanessa said, her tone dripping with mockery. "We're giving you a fresh start." The razor hummed again, buzzing across the side of Emma's head. She couldn't stop the tears now. They streamed down her face, mixing with the hair that stuck to her cheeks. But then, there was a sound. Heavy footsteps, the unmistakable slam of the door opening. What the hell is going on here? The room froze. Standing in the doorway was Major Carter. His tall frame filled the entire entrance, his military posture straight and commanding. His eyes locked onto his daughter, tied to a chair, trembling, her hair scattered around her like fallen feathers. For a moment, there was silence. Even Vanessa's smirk faltered. "Who did this?" His voice was low, almost too calm, but there was something dangerous behind it. Vanessa tried to laugh. "Sir, we were just..." "Don't talk." His tone cut through the air like a blade. He walked over slowly, each step deliberate. The bullies instinctively stepped back. The two girls holding the phones quickly hid them, trembling. Major Carter knelt beside his daughter, gently cutting the ropes with the small pocketknife he always carried. "Emma," he said softly, his voice breaking now. "I'm here, sweetheart." Emma collapsed into his arms, sobbing uncontrollably. He held her, shielding her from the eyes of her tormentors. His hands trembled, not from fear, but from rage he was barely containing. When he finally stood up, his expression hardened again. "You think bullying makes you powerful," he said, turning to the girls. "You think humiliating someone weaker than you gives you control. I've faced enemies who thought the same. You know what they all had in common." He stepped closer. They all learned what real strength looks like. The principal, alerted by the shouting, rushed into the room with 2 teachers. The scene spoke for itself. Within minutes, the bullies were escorted to the office, phones confiscated, tears replacing their arrogance. That night, Emma sat silently at home. The mirror reflected her shaved head, the uneven patches of hair still there. She couldn't even look at herself without wanting to cry again. Her dad knocked on her door and stepped in quietly. He sat beside her, holding a small box. "When I was in the army," he began, "I had a soldier under my command, smart, brave, but she was always teased because she didn't look like everyone else. You know what she told me one day?" Emma looked up, wiping her eyes. "What?" she said. "Hair grows back. But courage doesn't if you let people take it from you." He opened the box. Inside was his old military cap. "So, until it grows back, this is yours." Emma took it carefully, her lips trembling. "Dad, I just don't want to go back there." "I know, but we don't run from battles, Em. We face them, not with anger, but with pride." He smiled gently. "And tomorrow, I'll walk you to school." The next morning, whispers filled Ridgewood High as Emma walked down the hallway wearing her dad's cap. The bullies had been suspended, but everyone knew what had happened. Phones had captured enough before they were confiscated. Emma didn't hide this time. She held her head high, her steps steady. And when someone muttered, "That's the girl whose dad," she stopped and turned. "Yeah," she said, her voice steady. "That's me, the girl you all laughed at. But guess what? I'm still here." Her courage silenced the hallway. For the first time, people didn't look at her with pity, they looked at her with respect. Later that week, something unexpected happened. A few girls from her class, ones who had stayed silent before, came up to her at lunch. "Hey," one said nervously, "we saw what happened. It was awful. We should have said something. We're sorry." Emma looked at them quietly, then nodded. It's never too late to do the right thing. From that day on, Emma wasn't just a new girl. She became a symbol of strength. Her story spread across the school, how she faced humiliation but rose above it with grace. Months passed, her hair started to grow back, and every morning, before she left for school, her dad would remind her, "You can't control what people do, but you can always control how you rise after they try to break you." A year later, at the school's anti-bullying assembly, Emma was invited to speak. As she stood on the stage, she looked out at the faces that once mocked her, and smiled. "I used to think losing my hair was the worst thing that could happen to me," she began. "But it wasn't. The worst thing would have been losing my self-worth because of what someone else did. I didn't, and neither should you." The auditorium filled with applause. Even Vanessa, who had returned after months of suspension, sat quietly in the back, tears in her eyes. Emma glanced toward the door, where her father stood watching proudly. Because in that moment, she wasn't the broken girl in the chair anymore. She was a warrior, just like her dad had raised her to be.